Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast, presented by the Fantasy Football World Championship, home to the industry's most accurate rankings.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Adam Krautwurst, and with me tonight is old friend, old companion, and we go way back to the days of Twitter, to the days of Twitter. Bradley Stalder with me tonight. What is up, Bradley, my friend?
Adam, it's great to be back with you. We always have great time at the FF Expo. Yep. We've had a great time just drafting. How did our FFPC teams do, by the way? I never checked in on them.
I don't think they did anything. I'll double check tonight, see if I owe you any money, but I doubt they did it.
I think I threw you $20 in a $100 entry or something like that to contribute. Perfect. But we had a good time. It's always great to chat with you, Adam. I've been looking forward to reconnecting. We're in post NFL draft time. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you tonight.
Yes, no, it's going to be such a good time. And you just got off one of your shows, and it's late for the both of us. So let's just dive right into it. Everybody in the chat, feel free to hop in, ask some questions. But tonight we're going to talk about, Brad digs into a lot of these projections, for a lot of his work over at Player Profiler, and also on all the various podcasts that he's doing, including Bestbell. So, I like to talk about guys that dive into the numbers about who they're higher on right now, than consensus, and you made we were talking pre-show, like who am I clicking, who am I not clicking? That's a great way of putting it. Like who are the guys you're clicking and who are guys that you're not clicking? Let's start with a guy that you're not clicking. I saw you were talking numbers recently on X with somebody, a wide receiver rookie drafted by the name of Malik Neighbors. He's a guy that you have not been clicking.
Yes, he's a player that I've been avoiding, and I gave a couple reasons why. And the X Machine peeps in the comments were not happy with me, and I don't care. The reality is that the New York Giants have never been great under Daniel Jones of supporting a wide receiver one, and I projected Neighbors for 22% target share, which I felt was fair for his type of pedigree profile. One of the top wide receivers in the class this year. But the pass volume is also very low. And so my concern is Daniel Jones coming off the ACL is going to continue to spread the ball around. And we're looking at a player who he may have. So I think it was Ian Hartitz said Malik Neighbors profiles as a rookie year Jalen Waddle. And I think it's going to be hard for him to get there because rookie year Jalen Waddle had no one else. The New York Giants actually do have a decent wide receiver too, and Wan'Dale Robinson coming out of the slot. He commands about 18-19% of the targets. Darren Waller isn't there. So Neighbors, though, 22% is still going to get him to 120 targets.
Yeah.
But the problem is, have we ever seen a wide receiver get 800 receiving yards for the New York Giants? The answer is no under Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And so our concern is that he's just going to be limited by his surroundings. And no matter how good he is, we've seen really good receivers be limited by their surroundings. And I think the last point I want to make is that when it comes to Malik Neighbors projections, I think it was DraftKings Sportsbook put his receiving yardage at 900 flat, the over-under. And it's going to be hard for him to get there. I think that's fine. Like, it's okay. I don't mind. Like, it's not a bet I want to take at 900 receiving yards, but it's also one that's an indicator to us that an explosive season is not there. And he's being drafted as wide receiver 20 right now in round 3. Yeah. You need him to pay off round 2, round 1. You need massive ceiling games, and Malik Neighbors, while I like the prospect, I think is a great rookie dynasty click. He's not a best ball pick for 2024. Like, even looking at what Jamar Chase did his rookie year, Jamar Chase had a 20 3.7% target share his rookie year. Neighbors at 22, I think, is a fair amount, and low pass volume offense, I think he's a fade at wide receiver 20.
Yeah, all great points. I'll admit I wasn't happy with you either, but not because I don't trust you, but because I want Malik Neighbors to be better than that. And I'm sure you do. Like no one's saying that they don't like Neighbors as a player. It's just
the landing spot was so bad.
The landing spot was so bad as far as like the talent at quarterback around him, but as far as like being able to get that volume, I think that. But it's all good points. Jones hasn't supported before, and I kind of want to circle around to. I've been asking this question quite a bit as far as like. I don't do a lot of projections like with the numbers.
Right.
Do that. Are you project? So you get, hero maker like Stafford and guys like that who just know how to make those receivers give them the massive seasons, the Cooper Kupps, the Puka Nakuas, the Calvin Johnsons. Think of Jared Goff with the Amon-Ra St. Browns with all the guys around him. They boost them up. Is Daniel? Do you factor that into when you're doing your projections? Like that not only like how good is the quarterback, but the type of quarterback as far as making the kingmaker at the receiver position?
I really don't take that into consideration as strongly. I look at what are the ranges of their target shares typically. And if it is a player like that, maybe they get a lean, but projections are both an art and a science. Like obviously we got the numbers and you put it in the formula, blah, 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 but making a judgment call of what target share a particular player gets, that is an opinion. That's my take on the player and this situation and what I think that particular quarterback can do. And so looking at comps of early round one wide receivers, what did they get in terms of target share year one? I thought 22% was a fair number to give Malik Neighbors. He's not going to get 28% out of the gate. Maybe he'll go Drake London, but remember Drake London year one on a bad team with a bad quarterback play was still in the wide receiver 30s.
Yeah.
Even though he got a 28% target share rookie year. And so my concern is that best case scenario for Malik Neighbors is he's in the early wide receiver 30s. Maybe he's a late wide receiver 20s, but that's not paying off your ADP. That's really hurting you.
Yeah.
So, even best case scenario, we're looking at a back end mid pack wide receiver 3 because of the situation, which makes all of us curdle because we know how good Malik Neighbors is.
Yeah. And again, Brian Daboll coming from Buffalo, getting Stephon Diggs, force feeding him, I could see that, but you're right. He's still being way overdrafted. Like you said, he's gonna have to hit like his ceiling, and Daniel Jones isn't very good. You don't really want to rely on that. So, but listen, speaking of a good quarterback, a guy who you like, a guy whose name you are clicking at the quarterback position, Joe Burrow, hopefully healthy Joe for the Bengals. Talking about Joe Burrow this year and what you like about him.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow is poised for a bounce back. He was dealing with a calf injury last year. The calculus is very simple for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow plus Jamar Chase plus Tyler Boyd. Not Tyler Boyd. We've got to improve Tyler Boyd. We got Jermaine Burton. Tyler Boyd now on the Tennessee Titans, but we have T. Higgins back in the fold. And you have Mike Gesicki now, who the Bengals had been looking for that other red zone threat. They tried to do it with Irv Smith last year. It just didn't work out very well. And they've been hesitant to click in the rookie draft for tight end. So, I think that this is a really easy bounce back scenario for Joe Burrow. We could see the touchdown rate, turn the other way. Jamar Chase will be healthy. T. Higgins will probably be healthy. The reality is the Bengals are discounted a little bit, and you can be able to get some clicks in on Joe Burrow. So I like the trajectory of him being a bounce back and being kind of lost in that like tier 3 of quarterbacks. You've got your Josh Allen, your Jalen Hurts, you've got your Lamar Jacksons, but then Joe Burrow in that like tier 3-ish is one that you're able to get Chase in round 1, and then you get T. Higgins in round 5 now almost.
Yeah.
That's an easy later click. So I'm fine with taking Joe Burrow. I think let's continue to let the market, be a little sleepy on him. Sleepy Joe.
Don't forget about Andre Losivas, all right, going at,
Yoshiva.
undrafted there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you said it at the very beginning there. Like if he stays healthy, Burrow, he'll be a top 5, top 6 quarterback. It's going to be interesting. Like I think Stroud could finish ahead of him. I think Richardson could finish ahead of him, at least in points per game. But I don't think, that's where you get like the Dak Prescott kind of range type of deal. So I think Burrow's fine. His floor isn't super high because he doesn't have that rushing upside that can get him there week to week. But, a guy who you mentioned who I really like, we weren't going to talk about tonight, but T. Higgins in the 5th. I mean, what's changed there? He's in a contract year, and now like health, like, okay, like everyone has health issues, right? Like he was going at the 2-3 turn forever, and now you can get him in the 5th round. Like I love it. They lose Boyd. I mean, they bring in Gesicki, who I like as a late round tight end. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. Higgins is a really good receiver, and he when healthy, he's gonna be awesome. I feel like you're getting a 2-round discount on him, but I like it.
Yeah, T. Higgins. So this year I've been doing not just projections, but also best ball value rating projections. And Higgins right now is my 63rd player overall. And while that may be a little lower than his ADP, I'm fine with it. It means that my projections are pretty close to aligned with where the market is. And I'm okay with that type of click because because maybe my projections are off for a little bit here or there or whatever the case may be. If I'm in the right range for a particular player, that means that I'm comfortable giving them the click based on, what we've seen not only from the points per game, but from the range of outcomes. Can T. Higgins access certain ceilings? And the answer is, well, last year we saw it. Yes, we saw some massive games from T. Higgins, which we really hadn't seen in previous seasons. So, yeah, I'm okay with taking shots on a discounted T. Higgins here in 2024.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Without giving too much of your projections and rankings away, T. Higgins or Malik Neighbors?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins or Christian Kirk?
Where is Christian Kirk? Kirk. Yeah, it's T. Higgins.
T. Higgins or Devonta Smith?
Devonta Smith. T. Higgins barely.
Yeah,
they are.
That's the range we're in, right?
It is by a hair.
That's the range. Exactly. Yep. So those are the range.
Once again, these are the Malik Neighbors is the wide receiver 1 in his team, but T. Higgins, wide receiver 2, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver 2, Devonta Smith, wide receiver 2. Like that's what great talent, but not the best wide receiver on their team.
Yeah, completely agree. Speaking of great talents, we think Caleb Williams, great talent for the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
Talk about him. Talk about that's a guy you've been clicking, right?
Oh yeah, that's an easy click. He's being discounted significant, and people will. Here's what maybe as veteran drafters we know that quarterbacks are the ones who, if there's a position to fall in any best ball draft, it's the quarterback position. Like last year, we saw Trevor Lawrence drop multiple rounds in certain drafts. We've seen Brock Purdy in other drafts. We see the quarterback be the ones to fall, and Caleb Williams is sometimes that quarterback who can fall. So when we're talking about what he can bring to the table, right? Caleb Williams or Justin Herbert, right? I think it's pretty easily Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams or Tua, pretty easily Caleb Williams.
Yep. Completely agree. I mean, the rushing upside and the talent around him, my God, like if you were to put if you were to put Justin Herbert in this offense, people would be drafting Justin Herbert 2 overall, like quarterback, right? Like, so if you can just believe in Caleb Williams' talent and buy into that, I mean, again, he's going as what, QB 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. Like,
yes,
you can get him as a high-end QB2. I think you're doing really well. I like him way better for fantasy than Justin Herbert. I mean, they're going to run the ball a ton there. I mean, that's all Harbaugh wants to do is run the freaking ball, and they don't have a lot of talent on offense. I mean, they let everybody go. They got Led McConkey, who was a second-round pick, I think, or was he late first, early second?
Second round, rounder.
As their number 1, probably. because Johnston kind of stinks, so it's like, it's good. They're going to be very run heavy there. Had great offensive line. They loaded up on the offensive line in for the Chargers, but I know this isn't a Justin Herbert thing, but anyways,
yeah, Herbert's one of my fades this year in terms
correct.
of like spike week. If you want like Herbert's going to be your perfect like quarterback 14.
Right.
That's going to be the awkward thing in redraft, waiting on he's the wait on quarterback, click on Justin Herbert type of player. But when it comes to best ball spike weeks, like Justin Herbert's not a player that I'm clicking almost at all in the best ball streets.
Right. Completely agree. But Caleb Williams is a guy, and I think he's a guy, Bradley, and correct me if I'm wrong. As the summer goes on, I think you're going to see him rise a little bit. He'll go past Brock Purdy. Maybe he'll go past Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? Like, I think people
he should go past those players.
Correct. And as far as ADP, people will watch a couple throws in the preseason, right? Like a behind the back, no look pass with his fingernails painted, and everyone's going to absolutely love it. So I see the upside there for yes. Sure. Another guy that I was surprised that you were high on this guy. And I don't know if maybe it wasn't updated yet, but Kyren Williams, running back for the Rams. And I guess we'll lump them in here. Kyren and Puka Nacua. It looks like you're high on both these guys, high on the Rams offense. Talking about the Rams offense in general and what you like about these two guys.
You want the Rams.
Yeah.
You want the Sean McVay Rams. The calculus is, again, very simple. You know who the major players are going to be. Puka Nacua, an easy first-round click. Just click. Just easy. It's like the CeeDee Lamb Amon-Ra of 2023. You just click them. You just close your eyes. Yep. You just click because he's good. you know what you're going to get, and it's going to be great. And so that's the reality in terms of Puka Nacua. With Kyren Williams, I think there is a little bit more trepidation, but as I was talking with Dan Williamson, a co-host of Stack Hunters with me, the Player Profiler Roto Underworld YouTube channel, one of the things that we were talking about was that while we are afraid of Blake Corum eventually splitting significant touches, the reality is Sean McVay trusts Kyren Williams. No matter how bad his combine was, no matter how inefficient he is trusted by Sean McVay to do what he needs to do. And that's the reason why they drafted Blake Corum per Jordan Rodriguez, is that Corum fits the same exact type of mold of Kyren Williams. The reason why they want redundancy is so that if Kyren goes down, they don't miss a beat. What they found last year was that Kyren goes down, who is it? Ronnie Rivers, right. Zach Evans. Lord have mercy. This team they don't have any trust on offense with any of those other backs. And so Blake Corum becoming one of the best runners, pure runners in college football, behind one of the best offensive lines in a run heavy team. Like, Corum looked very good. And if it wasn't for the big injury, a year and a half ago, right, we would be talking about Blake Corum already having established himself in the NFL, I think. But that injury delayed it for a year, and now he lands on the LA Rams. And this fits the Sean McVay mold, right? He wants programs that guarantee NFL-ready players, and that's the University of Notre Dame, that's University of Michigan. You can look up and down the Rams roster, and you'll see established program players who are getting starting roles. So Kyren Williams, I think, is the guy, and we've seen him be a moneymaker, a winner, a ceiling type of player. He was the running back 2 in terms of best ball value rating last year, only behind McCaffrey. That was ahead of Achane, ahead of Mostert. Kyren Williams, yes, like, he's now round 2, but we know he could be the 102.
Yeah, he was the 102. He was the RB2 last year, right? Like, league winner type player, him and Achane. I had a lot of 0 RB teams, so him and Achane on it that absolutely smashed last year. Those were some really fun teams down the stretch. In fact, I had a team that had Achane and Kyren in this very FFWC World Championships that was first halfway through the final Sunday, Brad, and fell off the edge of a cliff at like during the 4:00 games. But that just goes to show you the type of potential that a guy like Kyren Williams has. So no, I totally get that there. Corum doesn't scare me, like you said. What you're saying is he's a straight handcuff, which is fine. I love Corum as an elite handcuff. Kyren Williams showed you last year what Corum could do this year. You take Corum in the 11th round, and now you've got Kyren Williams if Kyren goes down. So I still like Blake. I have
Blake Corum as my 80th player in best ball value rating projection.
Yeah, exactly. So you can take them both. I know people say you're not supposed to do that, or you could just, if you don't go Kyren, you could leave. You want to leave the draft with maybe one of them. Maybe that's kind of what you're saying, but it's tough.
Rams.
You want Rams. Great point. You said close your eyes and draft Puka Nacua. Fine. Any worry about, you dive into the analytics, you dive into the underlying numbers and stuff. Any worries about Puka? Maybe with a sophomore slump. I saw a stat recently. I think it was Jared Smola from Draft Shark said that when both healthy games for Puka and Cooper Kupp, it was 24% Puka, 23% Cooper Kupp as far as target share. Any worry about maybe him coming back down to earth if Cooper Kupp can get healthy?
No.
Fair.
That's the reality is Puka Nacua earned his targets, and we're out there noticing what he does. My only concern with Puka, and this is something that not a lot of other people have talked about, but it is something like it's a corollary to what Matt Harmon has put out recently. He says that Puka Nacua, plays through his routes, which is very interesting. I think that's the phrasing. Maybe I'm misparaphrasing.
Yeah, no,
but he plays through his routes, which is great for making the catch. And he concentrates, he catches the ball, but he takes hits. He takes big hits over the middle. And so my concern is, even after week 1, I don't know if you remember this, Adam, like I'm going to pull back, the history after week 1, Puka Nacua ended up on the injury report as majorly questionable with some sort of injury. And we didn't hear about it until a couple days after, the Sunday games when he had his major breakout, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone was rushing the waiver wire. They put in their waiver bids. Waivers went through. And then suddenly after waivers, he's on the injury report right away. And it seemed like Puka had been dealing with small injuries the entire season. My concern is that that's just going to be his style of play. Maybe not Mike Williams bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's more durable than Big Mike. But the amount of hits that he took rookie year, he's got to figure out another way to make those without, with keeping himself on the field.
Correct. Completely agree. And I agree with your overall premise. You want Rams, you want McVay, you want all those guys.
Yes.
Stafford, again, is a kingmaker at receiver. Cooper Kupp, a couple years ago, one of the best, if not the best season we've ever seen out of a fantasy football receiver. So, yeah, no, I completely agree. I hate the steep price on Puka with a first-round pick. I get it. But he's probably going to be worth it because that offense is just so good. All right, a receiver that you're not clicking here, and a guy that I kind of have been clicking. So I'm really interested to hear your take on this. Jalen Waddle for the Miami Dolphins, wide receiver. You have not been clicking him. Why not?
Yeah, Jalen Waddle is my 68th player in the projections.
Yeah,
in terms of best ball value rating. And we saw last year, it's really difficult for the wide receiver 2, even on a really good team, to pay off, even round 2 or round 3 draft capital, because you need them to return round 1 draft capital to be worth it. And ultimately, Jalen Waddle, while he was very, very good his rookie year, and if it was just him, sure. But we're talking about a wide receiver handcuff to get you there. And I'm not banking on that.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, as much as he does have his soft tissue issues from time to time and has missed 1 or 2 games here or there, the bull argument for Jalen Waddle is a Tyreek Hill injury. There's no other pathway for him to access the type of target share that requires a boom performance or a payoff performance. Waddle will get his 20 to 22%, but that's it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That was my argument against him last year. He was going in like the mid-second round last year. I'm like, just like you said, he can't access that wide receiver top 3 ceiling. If you're taking him in the mid-second, you want to be able to access that, right? That
Right.
overall top 2, 3, 4, 5 overall. And then when you watch these Dolphins games, it's every play. Tyreek's pulling up, limping. Every play's cramping up. Jalen Waddle's taking hits, leaving the field. Like those two guys are always getting banged up. They're always getting hurt because Tua's throwing these, suicide balls out there. Like it's
Right.
crazy. But you're right. Unless Tyreek Hill suffers a significant injury, Waddle is not going to. But if that does happen,
Oh,
But again,
wheels up.
the only thing I like this year kind of about him is where it's been getting to that range where it's okay. We're talking about Jalen Waddle now in the mid-third, end of the third, going up against maybe a Nico Collins or a DJ Moore or a Brandon Ayuk. It's like, okay,
Give
well,
all the DJ Moore.
yeah, we're gonna get it's right. We are gonna get to DJ Moore here too. I feel like that's a range he belongs in. I definitely don't have him as low as you do, but I think he's got that, especially for best ball. He's got that massive upside, but he does have the injury problems where he's kind of always in and out of games. But I like him better than Stephon Diggs. I like him better than I do personally like him better than DJ Moore. And so why don't we start talking about DJ Moore? That's the guy you are
Sure.
clicking. What's up
Yes.
with DJ Moore? You're not worried about all the weapons that they have there and a rookie QB?
So, if we're in on Caleb Williams, we have to be in on the weapons. I don't think
Sure.
that you can be like, well, we like Caleb, but, blah, blah, blah. No, like DJ Moore last year was a 28% target share type of guy. But that was with a Justin Fields, inaccurate at times. If he missed throws, maybe the broken plays were because he led him too much, and DJ Moore was able to do things on his own. This is Caleb Williams we're talking about, number one. So we've got improved passing ability. The second is the passing volume. How many times did Justin Fields pull passes out of the offense?
Right.
We're talking about an easy 10 to 15% increase in overall passing volume. So the pie is bigger.
Yep.
There's still, yes, I don't think he'll get 28% of targets, but we can get him down to 26, 25 and still be very, very good for fantasy. So I want the younger guy. Keenan Allen will get his PPR. Maybe we prefer Keenan Allen in full PPR settings, but the touchdowns can go to DJ Moore. I'm not worried about it. He's gonna hold off Rome Odunze. I think Rome Odunze will eventually take over as the wide receiver too, but it's gonna take a while.
Yeah. Sure. I agree with the Rome Odunze point. I think they got pass catching running backs there now. We just don't. To me, it's there's too much uncertainty. Like Caleb Williams could have a great year. They added all these weapons to DJ Moore, so it's like. We just don't know. Keenan Allen, could he be a target hog? All this type of stuff. So it does scare me a little bit, the DJ Moore stuff. But you're right about the pie is going to get bigger. Caleb Williams is definitely better than Justin Fields as a passer. So I think when you factor all that in, I certainly want some pieces of him, but I don't think I'm going out of my way to click him.
Like my projections are lower on DJ Moore than my personal opinion. My personal opinion is much higher than what the projections say.
Sure. No, I get that. Okay. Let's go off script here real quick. We got a quick question from Lawrence. Lawrence wants to know, what do you think of Javon Baker, wide receiver for the Patriots? Maybe throw a little dynasty take. I like him as a dynasty player there. Brand new offense, brand new team, brand new quarterback. We got Jalen Polk there. Hopefully revitalizing that, cesspool of a franchise without Tom Brady. Ron Burgundy said it right on the roast the other night. It was Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. It was Tom Brady. Okay, so what do you think of Javon Baker?
You mean the wide receiver who makes people in wheelchairs stand up?
Yeah, that guy right there.
I think that you're getting a little cute when you're saying, I've heard some takes, Javon Baker over Jalen Polk. Let's not get carried away right now. Could we see that happen eventually? It's within the range of outcomes. I mean, he was a day 3 pick for a reason. Like Javon Baker, let's not get carried away. The hit rates of round 4 and beyond of wide receivers, extremely low. Round 2 for Jalen Polk, much, much higher. And so we look historically at these type of profile players. Javon Baker's got the speed, he's got the size, he's got all the things, that all of the tools, and he's got the dog mentality that you want to see. Could he carve himself out as the wide receiver 2 in New England? I think pretty easily.
Yeah,
It's Polk, maybe Douglas. I like Douglas as a high floor, low ceiling type of click, but nothing more than that. And I think Douglas did earn at least another look, in year 2, but it's going to be pretty evenly spread. I think you're not going to be looking at a team that hyper targets one guy. The best case scenario for Javon Baker is George Pickens. I think that's his ceiling.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there. Again, too many question marks, rookie quarterback, new offense. Like, I'm kind of on a wait and see with him for sure. In redraft and dynasty, I'm fine taking him in like the third.
We're
round.
also not convinced that New England's going to be any good.
Right.
Like
right.
even getting him the ball. Like, are we convinced that Drake May can get him the ball on this team?
No, that's right. That's exactly a problem there for sure. So. And again, I just have a sour taste. Like, I just not sour because I hate the Patriots and I love when they suck. But
says the Buffalo Bills fan.
Says the Buffalo Bills fan. So, but I just don't see it there right now for sure. All right, let's talk about one more guy here, and then we'll let you go, Brad. Thank you for your time tonight. Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Ravens. You're not clicking Zay Flowers. What's up with that?
It's so hard to click Zay Flowers. So I mentioned that Jalen Waddle was my 68th player overall. Holy buckets. We have to keep scrolling all the way down. Zay Flowers is my 90th player. Is my 90th player.
Is it just pass volume? Is that what it is?
Pass volume is a significant portion of it. Now, Flowers does get the manufactured touches and the rushes out of the backfield. He's I think he was the only player last year, non-running back, to have multiple 20-yard rushes. Like just a dynamic player out of the backfield. Problem is, most of his production came when Mark Andrews was injured.
Okay.
Most of that production happened then. And even when Mark Andrews was back, we knew for a couple games, Andrews was still nursing some things. So we've yet to see a full season of Zay Flowers plus Mark Andrews. And I think Mark Andrews will earn more targets and will command more targets than Zay Flowers. And plus you get the touchdowns. Flowers is not built, to be the touchdown maker. He has to finesse, he has to route run, and you also have to, from a narrative perspective, Flowers was the reason why the Ravens lost in the playoffs. Like that fumble where it got punched out near the end, that was real tough and probably sits with him and with the rest of the team for a while. And so, look, he's going to be the number 2 option on this Baltimore Ravens team. Yes, Tez Walker is there. Yes. Rashad Bateman, we're going to run that back again. Lord have mercy. But,
I know.
It's going to be Mark Andrews. It's going to be Zay Flowers. I think it 1-2 punch, and it's Andrews, then Flowers.
Yeah, I think they're kind of a perfect combination. Don't look at the rankings off the top of your head. I'm just quick fire here. Zay Flowers or Jaden Reed?
Oh, that's not fair. I feel like they're back to back.
Okay,
can I look? I want to look now.
Zay Flowers or Deontay Johnson?
Deontay Johnson.
Zay Flowers or Christian Watson?
They're back to back, actually.
Look at you. Zay Flowers or George Pickens?
Pickens, easy.
Yes. Zay Flowers or I'm not going to do that. I was going to say Rashee Rice, but God, who knows? Zay Flowers or Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Zay Flowers.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so a lot of the, I got my rankings here, and I just wanted to see like draft and like who you'd be taking. Yeah, no.
Let me check the Reed one.
So my Zay Flowers and Jaden Reed are literally back to back in mine. That's why I asked you.
Okay, so I had Zay Flowers, way ahead of Jaden Reed.
Okay, there you go.
So the concern with Jaden Reed is that he gets pulled off the field if there are 2 tight end sets. And we saw that.
And he was it's funny. Jack Holstein's been a guest on this show a bunch. He was a co-host with me pretty much last year. We always laugh about he relied so much on touchdowns last year. Jaden Reed did, but it's like, you don't want to count on that. Well, it's not terrible to count on a guy who's really good at scoring touchdowns either. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's going to be crowded. I mean, I like Wicks in Green Bay a lot too this season. So, you just don't know Christian Watson if he's healthy. So there's lots of options for the Packers.
I love Christian Watson.
Yeah,
I love Christian Watson. Let me just get it on the record. Yeah, he loves me. He loves me. Christian Watson loves me. I love him. It's a mutual thing. Christian Watson. I don't know if you know this, Adam, but the Green Bay Packers fired their entire strength and conditioning staff this offseason.
Thank God.
They fired them. They have been very careful and cautious about Christian Watson. They are very concerned about him because he is their best offensive weapon.
Those hamstrings, man. Come on. Can we keep this guy in the freaking field? He's so stinking
He's a
good.
cheat code.
They're a fun team to stack, Brad. You get Jordan Love, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Wicks. You can get them all.
And then throwing a Musgrave near the end,
throwing a Musgrave. Oh, it sounds delicious. Sounds incredible. But all right. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me on short notice tonight. Where can we find you? And what are you doing?
Yeah, so you can follow me on the X Machine at FF Stalder. Recently shifted back. It was previously at Djibouti Puns, but we are back to business at FF Stalder on the X Machine. You can find a lot of my work at Roto Underworld. And I do Stack Hunters, the podcast with Dan Williamson every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I also host Player Profiler Today on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. So it is the Stalder day on Thursdays on Player Profiler. The other thing that I do for Player Profilers, I run their news desk. Yes. And we've got 16 guys who are content creators who work under me, and I just tell them, hey, we need blurbs on this, we need blurbs on that, I need a video on this, and the guys crush it. And I just make sure that their work is good. You can go to playerprofiler.com/news. Make sure that you add that as a tile on your iPhone. Just add bookmark to screen, and it is just the feed of all the news from Player Profile. It is a game changer for you. Perfect. We've got videos, we've got content, we've got awesome things. Go to playerprofiler.com/news. That's where you can find all of the work that our team is putting together.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job over there. Obviously, Billy and Theo and everybody.
I met Theo Greminger in person for the first time a couple weeks ago.
For the first time, really? The OG?
Oh my God! The OG. He is a man. He is a man among men. Let me tell you,
he is a man among men. Expo? You going to the Expo this year? Obviously,
I haven't bought my ticket yet, but I do plan on going.
I haven't bought my ticket yet either, but I do plan on going. So, hey, maybe we'll have to connect. Maybe we'll have to Airbnb it or something. We'll
for that, Adam.
We'll figure it out. So, Bradley, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you everybody next week. See you guys.